Everyone wants a shortcut. We want to be stronger, faster, fitter yesterday. So in this video, I'm going to give you a few tips that I genuinely believe will transform your training. So, listen up. Let's start off with, in my mind, the most important topic, planning. Now, if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you're into bike riding, and if you're just getting into riding or training, then you've got a lot to look forward to. But it all starts with planning. There is a big difference between riding and training. Now, you are going to make some gains by just riding, but adding some training and quality into those sessions is going to see you progress exponentially. And it all starts with a training plan. This allows you to map out your training on paper, which is visible and easy to follow. Now, why is a training plan worth creating, may you ask? There are so many benefits. Training becomes easier to follow and stick to. The on-the-bike time becomes more efficient. Having a diary of your training is going to allow you to look back through that, making your training plan more suited and individual for you. Planning rest time and recovery time, but more on that in a minute. And the list goes on. There are so many benefits to a training program, so I suggest you start looking at one. So first piece of advice is plan your training. And if you want to take your training to the next level, then I'd highly recommend you talk to a coach who will help structure that training plan around your goals. Remember though, plan your training around your life schedule. We all have busy lives and stressful lives, so make sure your training is around that, and trust me, you'll feel a lot better for it. Hydration is also paramount. Making sure you know what training is coming up allows you to know exactly how much fluid to put on your bike. If it's 2 hours, I'd look to take 2 bottles. Remember, a bottle an hour is probably a good rule to live by. But as the temperature rises, the more fluids you need on board. Fun fact for you, as endurance athletes, we will slow our pace by around 2% for each percent of body weight lost through dehydration. Now, as I said before, as the temperature gets hotter, this becomes even more important, especially though when you're in the indoor trainer. When you're losing a lot of fluids, you need to make sure you're replacing them. Group riding is amazing. Ultimately, cycling is a social sport, and getting out with a group will not only push you that little bit further to stick with the group and not get dropped, it'll also, though, teach you. What you want to try and do is ride with experienced riders. That way you can learn the tips and the tricks from them, learning how to sit on the wheel, but also learning about how to ride your bike better, being more efficient. There's no better way to learn than riding with people that are better than you. Trust me, I know from experience. Food fueling equals energy. It is very simple. We want to make the most out of every pedal rev, making training worth it and getting the gains that we're looking for. And this can be achievable with the right fueling strategy. But get it wrong and, well, bonking becomes a regular occurrence. And trust me, not the good kind. So I've got a 2-hour and a 6-hour ride planned later in the week. So Nigel, what have we got planned then?
Well, for your 2-hour ride, your good old trusty rice cakes are great. So depending on how hard you're going, you're wanting between sort of 3 and 4 rice cakes, or a couple of rice cakes and a banana. Absolutely spot on.
Perfect.
And if you're going to be doing the 6-hour ride, then, and if you're going to be struggling to be getting food while you're out, then this big day out drink is perfect for it. So that's got about 2,400 calories in it. So the idea is that you have water with you, you take a sip of this and you have a sip of water, and you just trickle it in throughout the day. And then the other one, what can top you up with it as well, so you have this in your bag on the front to keep having a little delve into, is a gravel mix. So this is just pistachio nuts, bits of chocolate, sultanas and seeds. So with a little bit of salt as well. So it just really, the flavours work well and the nutrition works really good.
Absolutely perfect. So the next big world record, that's what I'll be taking. Oh, and well, Thanks, Nigel, for making a mess of my kitchen.
Well, it's about time it's been used, Hank, because I don't think you've done a great deal.
Well, very true. It's not every day you have a world-tour nutritionist in your kitchen. Thanks, Nigel.
Now, are you goal-driven? Now, this is probably the best piece of advice that I genuinely use on a daily basis. Having a goal in mind really motivates me to push a little bit harder. Wake up, head out on the bike when the sun isn't shining and the rain is pouring. What I suggest you do is find a goal, but it doesn't have to be massive and it wants to be achievable. That way, that goal's always going to be in your mind. It's going to drag you out of bed, peel you off the sheets. You're going to want to just hunt for that goal. And when you get there, you'll feel like you just won a race. You'll feel energized. And then you'll choose another goal. But I have to say, my biggest motivator is goal setting. Sit down with a pen and paper, work out your goal, and trust me, when you're in desperate need of motivation, the goal is going to rise up nice and high, and you're going to be wanting to fight for it. Whatever it may be, it will transform your training.
When planning goals, the biggest piece of advice I can give you is making them achievable. We all love big goals and big aspirations, trust me, I'm all for it. But you want to make those goals that little bit smaller and more attainable. Start off with finishing your training program, doing your first race, or doing a time trial.
Now, these goals are always going to be in the back of your mind. They're going to be what get you up in the morning. Listen to your alarm clock, drag yourself out of bed, brave the weather when you're, well, a fair weather cyclist. Trust me, it will help an awful lot. I'm just trying to think of my next goal and trying not to make it too big. We'll see.
Rest, recovery, and sleep is vital to your training. And it's really important you put those recovery days in your training. It allows you to soak up all the training you've done so you can adapt from it and get stronger, faster, and fitter. So don't neglect your rest and your recovery. Oh my gosh, I love bed. Maybe I should get out my cycling kit though.
So there you have it. Those are genuinely my biggest tips for making the most of your training. If you enjoyed this video, then you know what to do. Yeah, hit that thumbs up button. And if you've got any tips for me, well, leave them in the comment section below. For this one's all about speed, the love of riding a bike. See you in the next video.